Thank you very much, Joseph. It's a great pleasure and privilege for Jenny and I to be with you here tonight on this very important night once again. Can I particularly acknowledge His Excellency Mr Van Lee, the Governor of South Australia, and his tremendous story, and it's wonderful to be here to celebrate with you tonight in this wonderful room here in Adelaide, and to be here at this 27th annual event. Can I also acknowledge my many colleagues in the room? I won't go through the full list because it is a very large number of colleagues who are here tonight, at both from the federal and state parliaments. But can I particularly acknowledge that we've come here tonight in a bipartisan spirit, because the bipartisan nature of support for the cultural and ethnic diversity and religious diversity of this country is something that is shared across the aisle by all parties in this country who are represented in our parliaments. And it's tremendous that we can gather together here tonight, united in our support for this incredibly important institution in our society. Australia is the most successful immigration country on earth. I don't think that's disputed. I don't say it arguably. I say it emphatically. This is the most successful immigration nation on earth, and I know that view is shared by my colleagues. I acknowledge Christopher Pyne, my very dear friend and fellow Cabinet Minister and the Minister for Industry, Science and Innovation. I also acknowledge Connie Vervente-Wells, the Assistant Minister for Multicultural Affairs, and supporting quite a number of Cabinet Ministers and others in various minister assisting roles. Can I also particularly acknowledge here tonight Senator Wong, as a South Australian but also a senior member of the opposition, together here with Tony Burke. Tony and I share one thing in common, maybe a few others, a love for Lebanese food. I think you go along with that one as well. But also we've both served and had the privilege of serving as Ministers for Immigration at a Commonwealth level. And we're both, and all of us, thrilled to be here. Can I also acknowledge Tom Koutsantonis, who he knows as a fellow Treasurer. I refer to him as Jason when I'm here in South Australia. It's an in-joke between the two of us. It's great to be here with you, Tom. And also, can I acknowledge Stephen Marshall, who is here as the Leader of the Opposition. Well, as Christopher would know, it's wonderful to be in a room full of incredibly optimistic people. And we are embracing this spirit of optimism, which I'm finding as I move around the country. But that optimistic spirit, when it comes to our economy, when it comes to business and entrepreneurialism, is very much rooted in the awards that we celebrate here tonight. Not just those for the ethnic businesses, but in particular also the Indigenous businesses. And I want to acknowledge the traditional owners and any elders past and present. This is a true celebration of innovation, Christopher. The innovators are all here in the room with us, amongst us. The entrepreneurs are here with us tonight, and we celebrate with them. And we celebrate with them because they bring a particular brand of entrepreneurialism to their approach to corporate life. It's a special insight, and it's not one that is reserved, I think, for the most recent generation of migrants, because frankly, everyone in this room, unless you're Indigenous, is a migrant or a son or daughter of a migrant. Whether you go back to the First Fleet, as I do, or you go back to the last vessel or last plane to arrive, we are all immigrants and sons and daughters of immigrants, once or twice or many times removed. And we have a commonality to our stories of overcoming the difficulties and challenges and adversities and adapting and leaving some things behind and picking new things up, but being intoxicated and drawn to this wonderful notion of Australia and the optimism of being able to form and build a life here. So waves of migrants have come to Australia, not to take a contribution, but to make a contribution. And the contribution that they have made over generations, and particularly most recently, we acknowledge here tonight. It's a brand of entrepreneurialism that understands also the dynamic global marketplace that we're in, the transitioning economy that we're moving through at present, but understanding that you will never be intimidated out of your prosperity and out of your dreams and of your ambitions for your business and for your country. Tonight, I particularly, though, also wanted to acknowledge not just the commercial success of the businesses that are here tonight, but one thing that I think goes very connected with ethnic and Indigenous business success in this country, and that is that success is shared. That success breeds a level of generosity and wanting to share the spoils of success in business. And recently, some of you may have been with me, I know Connie was, in Sydney for the Biagio Signorelli Foundation. And many of you will know perhaps Biagio's story. Landing on a dock in Sydney in 1954 as a 19-year-old from Sicily. And just the other night, the very foundation that was formed in his honour had some 1,300 people dining on the pier that he landed on so many years later in his honour to raise much needed funds to support the victims of mesothelioma, of which he was one. But his story of great success, and the Signorelli family, led by Paul now in their various business enterprises, has been giving back to the community over all the many years they've been successful in business. And when Biagio passed away, in his son's arms, Paul, he said this to him. He said, "Grow the business, look after your family, and help to save others." It's a tremendous piece of advice, and I think it's something that encaptures the heart and soul and the spirit of the room here tonight, where people have come, made a success, they're growing the business, they are looking after their families. In fact, the families are there every day in the same business, supporting them and taking it on. But most importantly, I know the businesses in the room look beyond their commercial success, and they look to their communities and they invest in it, and they believe in their communities, and they believe in this wonderful country. So as Australians all tonight, we gather and we celebrate the achievements of those who will be honoured here tonight. I thank the sponsors in particular. I thank NAB in particular for being such a strong sponsor over so many years. It's a great privilege for us all to be here together to honour you tonight, and I trust you'll have a great evening. Thank you.